What if I told you that getting rich isn't about what you'll get, but who you'll have to become? We all dream about the freedom that money buys, but nobody really talks about the price your identity pays to get there. This is the story of how money starts as a tool for survival and ends up as a force that completely reshapes your relationships, your sense of purpose, and the person you see in the mirror. These are the 7 stages of wealth, and they will change who you are. Most people think of wealth as just a number, a finish line. You grind, you save, you invest, and poof, one day you've made it. But that's only half the story. The other half, the part that really matters, is the psychological journey you go on. At each new level of wealth, a different version of you has to show up. Your fears change, your ambitions change, and your very definition of what it means to be okay gets a complete rewrite. You don't just earn your way up, you have to evolve your way up. So, let's walk through the 7 stages of that evolution, from zero to true freedom, and find out who you might become at every single level. Stage 1, Survival. The first stage is survival. This is when your net worth is somewhere between zero and maybe on a good day $10,000. At this stage, money isn't for growth, it's for breathing. You think about money the way you think about air when you're held underwater. Every decision gets filtered through one simple question: can I afford this? A flat tire isn't an inconvenience, it's a potential catastrophe that could derail your whole month. A sick day isn't for rest, it's a lost shift that might mean the difference between making rent or not. The mindset here is pure scarcity. Your brain is a calculator, constantly running the numbers on groceries, gas, and bills. There's no long-term planning, just the crushing urgency of the next 30 days. Your identity is the survivor. You're resourceful, you're resilient, and you understand the value of a dollar in a way people at higher stages never truly will. But the cost is huge. Relationships get strained because every social invitation has a price tag. Stress is your shadow, and the fear of one wrong move is paralyzing. The key to getting out isn't just earn more, it's building one tiny habit. If at all possible, create a small, automatic savings habit, even if it's just $5 a day. The amount doesn't matter. It's about proving to yourself that you can build a buffer. It's the first piece of evidence that you have a little bit of control. Stage 2, Stability. This is the stage where you finally have some breathing room, a small cushion. Your net worth is probably floating somewhere between $10,000 and $100,000. The big milestone here, you have an emergency fund that covers 3 to 6 months of your basic expenses. For the first time, a surprise medical bill or a car repair doesn't send you into a complete tailspin. The psychology shifts from scarcity to stability. You're not just trying to make it through the month anymore. You can actually start planning for the year ahead. You can exhale. That constant low-grade hum of financial anxiety starts to fade. You might even start contributing to a retirement account, like an RRSP, especially if your employer offers a match. Your identity becomes the planner. You're not just surviving, you're building. You've proven you can manage your money, attack high-interest debt, and live within your means. But a new fear creeps in, the fear of losing it all and ending up back in stage 1. You become cautious, sometimes too cautious, terrified of making a mistake that could slag you backward. To advance from stability, you have to shift your focus from just saving to investing. It's time to make your money start working for you. This means grabbing that full employer RRSP match, opening a TFSA, and putting your money into simple, effective assets like low-cost index funds. The goal isn't just to save, it's to build. Stage 3, Confidence. At this stage, your net worth is climbing, maybe somewhere in the ballpark of $1 to $500,000. Your investment portfolio is actually starting to grow on its own, and you have these moments where you realize your money is finally doing some of the heavy lifting. You've smartly avoided big lifestyle upgrades, even though your income has probably gone up. The dominant psychology here is all about growth. You stop thinking just about saving money and start thinking about building assets. You're not just a worker anymore, you're becoming an investor. You finally get that your salary alone won't get you to the next level. The real key is owning things that make money for you. Your identity shifts to the investor. You're actually interested in this stuff now. You might read a few finance books, you understand your basic investment strategy, and your eyes are on the long term prize. But this stage comes with its own trap, the golden handcuffs. The great income that often gets you here can make you feel secure, but you're still trading your time for that money. Your freedom is still tied to your job. The key to advancing is automation and unsexy consistency. You just need to keep buying assets, whether the market is up or down. Set up those automatic, recurring investments and let the system do its thing. This is the stage where you build the foundation of real wealth through relentless, boring consistency. Stage 4, independence. This is the turning point. Your net worth is likely somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million. For a lot of people, this is the stage where the value of your investments officially surpasses the value of your house. In a good year, the money your assets generate might even be more than your entire salary from just a few years ago. The psychology takes a massive leap from security to independence. As Morgan Housel says, the ultimate goal of money is controlling your own time. This is where you start to really feel that control. Work starts to feel less like a requirement and more like a choice. You realize you could probably take a year off, switch careers, or even start a business without facing financial ruin. Your identity transforms into the owner. You're not just an employee or an investor in someone else's company anymore. You are the owner of your financial future. The focus shifts from just accumulating more money to strategically buying back your time. But with this comes complexity. Suddenly, things like advanced tax strategies, estate planning, and asset protection become very important. The key to advancing from here is to admit you don't know everything and get professional help. The strategies that got you here won't get you to the next level. It's time to hire a fee-only financial advisor, a good CPA, and an estate planner. You have to start thinking not just about growth, but about preservation and efficiency. We're about to cross into a level of wealth that most people only ever dream about. But before we do, take a second. Think about the stages we just covered. Where are you on this journey right now? What's the one mental shift you need to make to get to the next level? Let me know in the comments. Your story might just be the thing someone else needs to hear today. And if you're getting value out of this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Stage 5, freedom. Welcome to financial freedom. Your net worth is probably somewhere between $1 and $10 million. Now, depending on where you live and what your lifestyle costs, this is the stage where your investment income could potentially support your lifestyle without you ever having to work again. $1 million in Vancouver feels very different from $1 million in rural Saskatchewan, but the potential for freedom is here. Work is now almost entirely optional. You can work on what you want, when you want, with whomever you want. The dominant psychology is, of course, freedom. Your big decisions are no longer driven by what you can afford, but by what you find meaningful. That's a massive psychological shift. Your identity is no longer tied to your job title. You are simply you. But this freedom brings a whole new menu of problems. When you can do anything, what do you actually do? Some people thrive and find a new purpose in mentorship, philanthropy, or passion projects. Others feel a surprising sense of loss because the structure that defined their lives for decades is suddenly gone. Your relationships change too. Trust becomes a huge issue. You start questioning people's motives, wondering if they like you for you or for your wallet. It can be an isolating experience. The key to navigating this stage is governance and purpose. You need to build structures, like trusts, to protect your assets. But more importantly, you have to define your purpose beyond making money. What's the point of all this? What impact do you want to have? Stage 6, influence. At this stage, with a net worth between roughly $10 and $100 million, money is no longer about your lifestyle. You could have afforded any reasonable lifestyle in the last stage. Now, money becomes a tool for reach and influence. The dominant psychology is one of responsibility and staggering complexity. You might be running a large business, managing complex private investments, or structuring a family office to handle it all. Your decisions don't just affect your family, they can impact hundreds of employees and partners. The gap between a decision you make in a boardroom and its consequences on people you'll never meet gets wider, and that emotional distance can be a heavy psychological burden. Your identity becomes the steward or the strategist. You're no longer just managing your own money, you're stewarding a significant pool of capital. Your relationships often become more strategic, even transactional. You find yourself spending most of your time with people who operate at a similar scale, not out of snobbery, but because your problems and your daily context have become almost untranslatable to most people. The key here is managing that complexity and finding trusted circles. Your main focus shifts to succession planning, advanced tax strategies, and figuring out how to scale your philanthropic goals. Your biggest risk isn't a market crash anymore, it's the mismanagement of the vast, complex machine you've built. Stage 7, Legacy. The final stage is legacy. We're in the realm of dynastic wealth, typically north of $100 million. At this point, money has stopped being a meaningful measure of anything about you personally. You have more than you or your family could ever responsibly spend. The sheer scale of it means your wealth will almost certainly outlive you by generations. The psychology shifts from personal ambition to generational impact. Your primary focus isn't on growth or even influence, but on a much harder question. How do you pass down both your wealth and your values? The challenges here are profound and well documented. How do you raise children to be driven and responsible when they're born into a world without any financial friction? It's a common pitfall that can lead to a lack of purpose or other destructive behaviors in the next generation. Your identity becomes the architect. You're designing a structure you hope will last for a century or more. You stop thinking in years and start thinking in decades. Your work is about building foundations, both financial and philosophical, to guide your family and your capital long after you're gone. The key to this stage is simple to say, but incredibly hard to execute: wisdom. It requires you to finally separate your wealth from your identity, to cultivate meaning that has nothing to do with money, and to find a way to instill that wisdom in the next generation. It's about making sure the wealth serves the family's purpose, instead of the family becoming servants to its wealth. So, what's the real takeaway here? The journey through these 7 stages isn't a financial ladder, it's a series of profound personal transformations. It starts out with a desperate need for security and ends with a deep search for meaning. Each stage changes you: your fears, your relationships, your purpose. You start out thinking money will solve all your problems, only to discover that it just replaces them with new ones, more complex ones. Maybe the ultimate lesson is that money is a powerful tool, but it's a terrible master. True wealth isn't the number in your bank account, it's the freedom to control your own time and the wisdom to know what to do with it. So I'll ask you again, what stage are you in, and more importantly, who are you preparing to become for the next one?